Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, you had a wonderful Easter weekend and you're ready to get going today. Things we're going to cover is first of all the 5-minute moneymaker. Here are 12 million baby boomers owners. I'm sorry, there are 12 million baby boomer owners, and they're about to retire. Trillions of dollars will be transferring hands. Will you be part of it? The thing is, do we know when people are going to retire and sell their businesses? Do we have any clue when that's going to happen? No, we don't. But we want to be around when that happens because they, at this point, have never really, most of these business owners have really never had any lump sums because all their money has been tied up in their business. When they sell it, all of a sudden they get millions and millions of dollars, and they've never had that before. So guess how eager they are to find a home for it? Real eager. The problem is we never figured out that that this has happened until we see in the paper that somebody sold their business. So the way we do it is I have a system that we can use, and it's the newsletter that you send out to businesses every single month, and it's always about ways that they can help their business. So you should only be sending that to family businesses, and there's lots of different ways to figure that out. So if you go to the Small Business Pot of Gold, it only takes you, probably a half an hour of a month to do this, and you're not going to get these businesses when they sell every single year. But when you sell, or when you get one, what if you got one every 3 years and it's worth $12 million? Is that a good thing, a good use of your time, or a bad use of your time? So when you get them, it's awesome. So please take a look at this. It's a very, very low maintenance way to get huge tickets when people sell their businesses, because it ingratiates you in their eyes, and they're going to come to you when they do sell their business. So take a look at that. Yeah, Dave's saying he just got his partner just got a $27 million person who sold their business. It's worth millions of dollars. So this is a great way to make sure that when they sell their business, you're the guy they come to. You're the guy they call. You're the guy they're looking to for advice. So please, please, please take a look at this. Another thing is, what do you have on your phone for your on-hold messages? What do you have on your phone for your on-hold messages? Well, you really have three choices. I'm saying you have two choices. One is you can put music on there. How good is, what's music doing for you? Nothing. So don't have music. That's silly. You have really two choices to make it productive. One is you can put your unique selling proposition and be selling stuff on the phone. I prefer to use the phone to grow the trust that these your clients or your prospects have with you, and that's again based on all the research that Maslansky has done on the fact that we live in a world of reduced trust. So people with high net worths, are they looking for products, or are they looking for somebody they can trust? Yeah, they're all looking for somebody they can trust. Always, always, always. So I actually created this for one of our other advisors, and I thought I would give it to you. So this is what I would recommend for your on-hold messages. And you can find, I'll show you where you can find it on the website, but remember when the world moved at a normal pace and we knew what to expect tomorrow? Now in the morning, we don't even know what's going to happen by the afternoon. The world's just plain old more uncertain than it used to be. So guys, do I sound very official, or is this very colloquial, very conversational? It's casual, and that's what we want, because they want to know that they can trust this person. That's through a more conversational type tone. It makes sense to protect ourselves from all the uncertainty, because if we don't, who will? Washington, our employer, the talking heads on TV? Nope. We have to take care of ourselves. That's why at Kastelnick & Clark, we pride ourselves at working side by side with our clients, crafting things like to create a personal pension plan, paying you an income for the rest of your life, techniques to protect your hard-earned savings from loss while still getting a fair rate of return, and, helping our clients with all those things that give them peace of mind. We find that our clients have peace of mind, so do we. Today, this business is much different than it used to be. In the old days, we were stockbrokers. So this is broken down into 4 different messages, because we don't know how long they're going to be on hold, right? So it's broken down to 4 different messages. So you'd actually have this running until you'd actually pick up the phone. Today, this business is much different than it used to be. In the old days, we were stockbrokers. We were paid to generate transactions. Today, we are consultants, and we give counsel to our clients. Our relationship is one of partnership and is one based on trust. What that role allows us to do is to be on the same side of the table as you. Education is our responsibility. We want to be totally informed on the decisions you make because it helps to make better decisions all the time. This paragraph right here was tested. This is a word-for-word tested paragraph that was tested with the affluent, and 87% of them had a 80% higher positive response to this paragraph right here. Okay. At Caston & Clark, we feel that every client deserves so I wrote this one, and this one, but this one has been tested by another company, and it's awesome. At Caston & Clark, we feel that every client deserves the time, attention, respect, and service, regardless of whether the client has $250,000 or $10 million. We help all of our clients make sure that financial plans are both comprehensive and reliable. And guys, when I wrote these, I'm using all of Maslansky's technology. So this one was actually designed, but these 3 are designed with Maslansky's words and phrases and points that are extremely well received by people. So there's a lot of keywords and tricky phrases in here that I'm using. So we help all of our clients make sure that the financial plans are comprehensive and reliable. And those are 2 words, comprehensive and reliable, that people really want. And that their money not only grows, but also provides them security is another word. And a lifestyle that works for lifestyle is another word. They work so hard to achieve. Our goal is to provide a step-by-step approach. Again, another word, they want step-by-step approaches that accomplish everything that our clients are looking for with less hassle. Again, less hassle and worries. Again, words that are very, very important. Simply put, we take the best of from the past and apply it to the future. Again, keywords and tricky phrases here. Simply put, we take the best from the past and apply it to the future. We never stop scouring the financial industry so that we can give our clients a state-of-the-art, accountable, and reliable financial plan that restores their belief that they can live the lifestyle they work so hard for without worries today and tomorrow. Just recycle all the way through. So, we're getting some questions. Should I do it or should a professional do it? I would check your local radio stations and see if you can't get a professional to do it, because most of us are, myself included, I would never record this myself. I would never record this stuff. I would hire a professional. But if you have we have some guys on the system that have excellent radio voices. They could go ahead and do this. But I don't have a radio voice, so I would get a radio voice, somebody with a deeper voice that's going to put more oomph to this. Make sense? Okay, so where can you find that? Right here. So if you go to Missy, help me out here. Where is organizing your office? Oh,
it's under getting started in the toolbox, and then it's under organizing your office flow.
Toolbox, organizing your office flow, and there it is. Should you have a one version too? I think you're overthinking this. So you're going to do one or the other. That's way beyond my pay grade to figure out whether you should have a woman record this or a man record this. So I just put this together for folks that want or that need an on-hold message, and I think it's far better than selling product and 10 times better than just having music. So, okay. This is right out of Market Watch, and it's talking about a tragedy is unfolding in the stock market that should worry both bull and bears. But before we talk about that, I just heard something on the news. Is the average consumer debt more or less than it was before 2008? Yeah, more. We are in danger. And what's the problem with consumer debt being higher than it was in 2008? What's the problem with that? Yeah, more consumer debt. But what's the problem with more consumer debt? Yeah, when they are in debt, they don't spend. And when they don't spend, what happens to the amount of profits that companies make? And when companies don't make any profits, guess what happens to PE? When the PE gets too high, guess what happens to the market? So, but this is something totally different. What he's talking about is in the U.S. market, it's all going to end badly. Even some ardent bulls will freely admit it. The question is how, when, and where. We don't know. That's the question. It's going to end badly. We just don't know when. Frankly, a tragedy is unfolding. Discerning eyes can see it. Since the December lows, the stock market has taken the scripted route higher, salivating at the prospect of dovish central bankers once again levitating asset prices higher. It's a Pavlovian response learned in the past 10 years. So what is he saying here? He's saying that central bankers keep lowering their interest rates or keeping interest rates low makes the markets higher with validation or unvalidatedly higher. Unvalidatedly, that's a good word. Or keeping interest rates low, is the market going up because truly that's what it should be doing, or is it doing it because the central bankers are keeping it low? It's because they're keeping it low. Record corporate buybacks keep flushing through the market. So when companies, this tax law change that we had in a year ago, and they promised us, no, all these companies are going to, hire more people, and they're going to bring all the money back to the United States. It's going to be awesome. And then all the economists said, no, they won't. All that's going to happen is these companies are going to buy the stock back. And what happened? What happened? Both. Hell no. What happened? At the end of it, 94% of companies said we did not hire a single person because of the tax break. But what happened to the stock market? Yeah, all the companies bought the stocks back. So does that mean? That means the market has done okay because of record profits, or because these companies kept buying their stock back? And eventually, what's going to happen? When there's no buyback, guess what's going to happen? But investors may sooner or later learn the hard way that the sudden capitulation of central bankers is not a positive sign, but rather a sign of desperation. So look at what's happened to the G4 central banks balance sheets. Since this is 94, this is 2019. Oops. What's happened to their balance sheets? So now, how much more debt can these central banks shoulder? A lot, or we're getting to the end of this? Well, it ain't just Europe. What's happened to our debt here in the United States? What's happened to our debt in the United States, guys? We're in trillion territory, guys. So it's G4. It's not Europe, but not the U.S. It's the U.S. and Europe. It's the friggin' world. It's China. It's China. So when all of these banks are frickin' up to their neck, can they lower rates at all at this point? There's only one direction. They keep, and if we have a problem, do they have the ammunition to jump in and bail out the economy anymore? No. So the capitulation is complete as it is global. United States, Europe, China, it's global. And 10 years after the financial crisis, there's not a single central bank on the planet that has an exit plan. As this week's Federal Reserve minutes again highlighted, no interest rate increases in 2019, while the tech sector is making an all-time high. That's an absurdity. Historically, what have central banks done when the market's doing well? Add more debt or pay down debt? They pay down debt. What we're doing is what? Adding more debt. To what? To keep the market, let the market go up on its own merits, or to prop the market up. It's propping the market up. So great is the fear of falling markets in a slowing economy that the grand central bank experiment has ended in an utter failure. But at least the Fed tried for a little bit to raise rates, and then what they do when Trump started saying, "Oh, quit doing that," what they do? They started to do the right thing, and the Fed is supposed to be independent or dependent on what any politician says. It's supposed to be independent, but they caved. The enormity of the central bank failure is perhaps best encapsulated by the state of the European Central Bank under Mario Draghi. So yes, It's the U.S. Central Bank, it's the Europe Central Bank, it's Chinese Central Bank, that in their desperation, central banks may have set a combustion process in motion that they can't stop. Now, remember what we talked about. Right now, we're in this wooden shed in the backyard stuffed with old papers and a gas can. We don't know when it's going to go up, but what has central bankers done to the amount of combustible material in that shed by keeping interest rates artificially low? It's a blow-off topping scenario driven by several factors, all in dovish central banks, a renewed desperate hunt for yield, a U.S.-China trade deal, record buybacks, trillion-dollar deficits, and a White House administration preoccupied with managing the stock market levels with the express goal of keeping prices high for the 2020 election. Trump's dangerous game. The latter point is not lost on Wall Street. This is from Morgan Stanley's chief global strategist in investment management. Trump's dangerous obsession with the markets. Mr. Trump's willingness to bend policy to please the stock market is now clear, and it's risky. In recent years, the stock markets have grown larger than the economy, and they are now big enough to take the economy down with them when they deflate. And it is underlying motivation of it all, prevent any lasting damage to equity markets to minimize the impact of the economy. Central bankers know this. Hence, they always intervene when things get hairy. And this is how you end up with the loosest financial conditions in 25 years. 3.8% unemployment and Fed too scared to raise rates with the lowest Fed funds rate on record while on the verge of the longest economic expansion cycle. Well done. Do you think well done is being said sarcastically or in true faith? Yeah, sarcastically. So what would be so bad about that? I mean, the answer is both technical and fundamental. While central banks in China may successfully delay a global recession, stocks have already disconnected from economic growth. As I outlined, so that means stocks are going up much faster than the economic growth has. As outlined in Icarus warning, many stocks are already historically stretched to the upside. Yes, extremes can become more extreme. So just because they're up, he's not saying they can't keep going up. They can get stretched, but it's like a rubber band. Can a rubber band be stretched more? Yeah. Can be stretched more? Yeah, it can be stretched more until what? Yeah, it breaks, which means it's catastrophic, not that it slowly deflates. Catastrophic, but it is historically references that suggest further squeezes to new highs would be unsustainable, setting up markets for something sinister. How sinister? Vary. Let me use some technicals to outline the scenario. So, do we have any technical traders on the? Are any of you guys technical traders understand how to do technicals? Okay, Ron is. Who else? Renan is good. So you guys will recognize this. I understand. Dave understands. Okay, so you guys, we got people who understand a little bit. Okay, so I mean, I used to forex trade, so I love technicals, and technicals aren't right. There's breakouts. So you see these trend lines, and this is actually a funnel, but trend lines are broken. But the fact is, trend lines are right 90% of the time. These characteristics like funnels, they're right 2/3 of the time, which means that you can always have a breakout, but 2/3, so 66 to 90% of the time, the markets follow what is happening with the technical indicators. So the technical pivot zone is based on on the Fibonacci level, and the Fibonacci it's really fascinating for you guys that have never looked at this. How often the market follows the Fibonacci levels. And there's several different levels, and the 2.61 is a huge one. It's a huge one. It's a pivotal one. It's derived from the 2007 highs and 2009 lows on the S&P 500, blah, blah, blah. Note the two major trend lines. The upper trend line following the 2007 highs, the January 2018 to September 18 highs, and the lower trend line from the 2019 lows. The resulting wedge has an apex precisely at the 2.618 Fibonacci level. So you see how these are going down. Now, we had a breakout here where it went below this trend line, and now it can't what? Go above that trend line. But it gets more fun. Check the long-standing trend line from 1987. So we've got this trend line here where it's bouncing above the trend line, and now it's been bouncing below the trend line. It can't go higher. Originating from 1987 crash, it formed. Isn't this fascinating? How from 1987, that's a lot of years. It bounced. crash, and then bounce, 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 bounce. It's amazing how true these things stay to the trend lines. How is this relevant? Check what happens when you combine all three trend lines on one chart. So there's that wedge or the funnel we talked about. Here's the that long-term trend line. I kid you not, frequency, I say not. I also can't say if the apex will be met, but were it to get hit, it'd be a point of unprecedented historical confluence. So for those of you technical indicators, the more technical indicators that are pointing to something, we go from the 66% to the 90% probability. The 2.618 Fibonacci level and three historic trend lines converge at the same point. That's like, you know, we just had this winter storm here 2-3 weeks ago, and it was three storms hitting together. Those of you that live in the Northeast, what a nor'easter is when you get those monster storms that combine. What we have here is a monster storm of technical indicators combining. So from October 1987 to October 2019, all points meeting here for quadruple confluence. That's like four major storms hitting at one shot. That suggests a massive technical reaction that will take place. They're at a point where key individual stocks would massively be overbought and disconnected from the underlying economy. So what they're looking at here, his wife then went through and did some technical indicating. So this is what we're looking at long term. We went from a funnel to now an open funnel or a megaphone. So a classic megaphone structure suggests a 30% drop from the pattern. What's that implication? You already know. So what they're saying is when it hits here, guess what it's going to do? It bounces down here. So at least we know it's not going to be a 50% downturn, but it'll be a 30% downturn. And that means that if it goes down 30%, how far does it have to go to get back to ground even? 30%? Yeah, 43. Yep, 43. So in recent years, stock markets have grown larger than the economy, and they're now big enough to take the economy down with a deflate. Possibility of a 30% crash. What's the scenario about? It's only got 5 to 7, so we go back here. We got 5 to 7 upside and 25 to 30% downside. So we have about a 5 to 7% upside left here, and we have a 25 to 30% downside. So that's what we're looking at with technical indicators. In closing, let me be absolutely clear. None of this is set in stone. Like I said, technical indicators are guaranteed to be hit. No, you see that they do break out every once in a while. So they do break out. I mean, they broke out of this trend line here. They broke out. They couldn't get above this line, and they broke out here. These things do break. But when you have four major technical indicators, plus an overdrawn economy, plus more stocks hitting lows than highs, I mean, all of this stuff is leaning up to what? A problem. So all of these technical indicators, again, do I just show you one, or do I show you constantly a bunch of different indicators going off? Just one or constantly different indicators? Oh, and by the way, guess when all of this hits? When did it say that it's planned? What date is when all of the confluence of four technical bombs hitting? October 2019. October 2019 is when all of these technical indicators are going to end up touching together. So does that mean the market will crash in 2019? No, but I'll tell you what. Guess how much money I'm putting into the stock market right now? None. Guess how much harvesting I've done on my stocks? A lot. So I'm building up a huge chunk of cash for when this thing happens. Because I'm a big believer, after trading for 4 years in Forex, these things do obey technical indicators. When you have four of them hitting together, holy crap, holy. That's a major warning sign. Again, not guaranteed. Just like, you know what, if the Vikings are playing the Patriots, it's not guaranteed the Patriots will win. But guess what? If I'm going to bet, guess who I'm going to bet on? Not the Vikings, especially if it's if it's a playoff game. And so if I'm a betting man on the market, I'm not putting money in the market right now. Holy crap. For all sorts of reasons. But these technical indicators are scary, scary, scary. So here's 13 ideas to boost your business. First is, what kind of pen do you use with your clients? How much money should you invest on a pen when you're meeting with clients? All the wrong answers. People are saying cheap and not much and none. What does it tell you when you're sitting down with somebody and they give you a freaking ballpoint pen, or some pen that they gave you that from their, when they were at their car rental place? What does it tell you? Yeah, Till, I agree with you, Till, that you're a loser. So what have they found when they did an experiment and they gave people the same form? They gave them a form on one of those pressed cardboard clipboards. They gave it to them on a glass clipboard, and then they gave it to it on a granite slab clipboard. Same form. And then they asked these people, how important is this form? Want to guess what form they said was the most important? The one on the cheap one, or the one on the granite slab? The granite slab. They were the same. It's the heaviest. Yeah, have you ever heard the term, it's got weight? He's got weight. That's not a made-up term. Something has weight. Things that have weight have quality. You ever shut a car door? Is there a difference when you shut a car door? When you hear that car door ka-thunk, what does that sound like? I mean, when it goes ka-thunk, you can tell the quality of the car. So your pen should be a very nice and heavy pen. It tells that person that you're a professional. It tells that person that you're successful. And when you hand it to them, it tells them that this is the real deal. So get a decent pen, because you undermine your credibility when you hand them a crappy pen, dudes. You undermine your credibility when they see you writing with a crappy pen. When you hand them a crappy pen, you undermine yourself. Don't do that. And speaking of writing, you should learn to write upside down. Of all the comments that I got from my clients or my prospects, did they say, wow, you picked up some really good investment ideas. Wow, you're really smart when it comes to designing these things. No, guess what the number one comment was? You can write upside down. Yeah, Dave's saying he gets commenting all the time. What does it tell the client when you can write upside down? What does it tell a client when you can write upside down? Yeah, you've been doing this a while, exactly. You've got experience. Guys, you can learn this in a weekend. You can learn how to do this in a weekend. It seems like a silly thing. Okay, let's think about a dentist. If a dentist comes in and he's first of all, if he has cheap tools, what are you thinking? Holy crap, I don't want to be working with them. Or if he comes in and he bumbles with the tool, what do you think? He drops the tool on the ground. What are you thinking? Whoa, that's not a good sign with him having it in my mouth. But if he comes in and does that thing where you do a pencil through your fingers, you know what I'm talking about, where it twirls through your fingers. If he shows that he's a consummate professional with that tool, does it make you a little bit more comfortable? He's not going to accidentally jab you in the gums with it. So this is something that seems like a small thing, but it speaks volumes about your experience level, about your professionalism. I know it shouldn't. It's a trick. It's a trick. Writing upside down is a trick. But it speaks volumes about your experience level and your professionalism. Learn how to do this. Everybody can learn how to do this in a weekend. It's not that hard. Another cool little thing, figure out a way to make your signature memorable. To make your signature memorable. How many of you would be able to identify the Trump signature? From what you've seen when he signed things on I mean, it doesn't look anything like Donald Trump, or is it a bunch of peaks and valleys? He's got it down. He's got a signature that's very, very instantly identifiable. Look at these ones here. They're very identifiable. These big J's with the 48. See how Norman Rockwell actually signed his name that way. Would you immediately recognize that? Salvador Dali put a little crown above his head. I actually had I bought a car from a car salesman, and I forget what his name was, but I do remember that he'd always signed his name and then he drew a little cow face on it. And I asked him why. Now, if I came into the, 5 years later I was looking for a car, and I didn't remember his name, I could say he's a guy. That's like 20 years ago, and I would say the guy that signs his name with the cow face. How many of the people in that room in that dealership would know who he was? And think about this. I remember 20 years later, I don't know his name, but I remember 20 years later, he signed his name with a cow face. Is that powerful or not powerful? Figure out a way to make your signature memorable. Send handwritten notes. Anybody remember when I was making $1 million a year, how many handwritten notes I sent out per month? Does anybody remember? How many? Very good, Dave. Dave's got it. Nick's got it. Yeah, 200. 200. I'd send out 50 a week. Every Thursday night after Michelle went to bed, I would write 50 notes. And those notes would be birthday notes. It'd be happy anniversary notes to people who came on, came on with me as a client. So the anniversary is their client anniversary date. I'd send those out. People came to seminars. I'd send thank you notes out. I sent out 50 per week. So as busy as I was, I still took time out to do that. Why? How many handwritten notes, besides the ones that I send you, how many handwritten notes do you get per year? Yeah. So it has weight, it has clout, and they remember it. And if you're too lazy to write handwritten notes, and Missy, do I write every single handwritten note, thank you note, every single month personally?
Yes, you do. You personally write them.
Do I use any technology? Yeah.
No technology.
But if you're too lazy to do that, this right here is actually done with Quantum Enterprises. You can buy or turn your handwritten font or handwritten handwriting into a font. So this is actually my handwriting turned into a font. I don't use it very often because if you write too much with it, it's too linear. You're writing in perfectly straight lines. If you do too much, they'll be able to see it. But it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. So don't use any of the fonts that you see and can buy, or like in your Word, because those are fake. Those are fake. But does this font here have the look of actual true handwriting here versus a font? Yeah. So if you're too lazy to do it, but don't be too lazy. But if you are too lazy to do it, at least do this. Okay. Should you if you send out holiday notes, should they ever be pre-printed and you just sign them? No. Because what you just tell that person, if all you do is what you just tell that person or your client, if you just, that it's a pre-printed holiday message and then you sign it. Yeah, you're only worth 2 seconds. Exactly right. So I actually left a bank because of this. Because I had millions of dollars flowing through that bank, and they sent me a card with their signature on it, which made me feel like what? Crap. And it just so happened that another bank was romancing me. So guess what I did? I went with the bank that was romancing me. Now here's the sad thing. If they had not sent me a card at all, guess what? I probably would have stayed. Out of sight, out of mind. But when they reminded me by sending me a card with just a signature, what they thought about me, that I was just a number, bye-bye. Make sense?
Reach out to people. They've done the research on wealthy clients. In order for a client to be loyal to you, which means not only will they stay with you, they will refer to you. Guess how many times you have to contact that person or that client? 24 times. Guess how many of them have to be non-financial? All 24. So what kind of messages can you use for non-financial? It's kind of like the ones I was talking about before. Anniversary dates of when they first became my client, birthday, happy 4th of July, happy Halloween, hey, how you doing? Anything that has non-financial. Because if a client is do you want your client to be satisfied? Do you want your client to be satisfied? Everybody answer this. About 50% of you are saying yes, and 50% of you are saying no. And the right answer is no. Guess what they found out about satisfied clients? They will stay with you until what? They find something better. Loyal clients, guess when they leave you? Never. There's a huge difference between loyal clients and satisfied clients. And if your clients were polled, what do you think the likelihood they are that you have far more satisfied clients than loyal clients? The way you turn satisfied clients into loyal clients is you contact them a couple times a month with non-financial contacts. Our epidemic marketing, would that count as a non-financial contact? Yes, that's why it's written the way it does, and Jeff does a great job on that. 3 times a day, offer to be of service to somebody. This is just a habit to make. Offer to be of service to a family member. Offer to be of service to somebody you work with. Offer to be of service to a client. It doesn't have to be just clients, but offer to be of service. Offer to be of service to your children's school. It's creating a habit. And guess what happens if 3 times a day you offer to be of service? Guess what would happen organically? If everybody thinks of you as a person who's always willing to help, yes, Stephen, good relationships. What does good relationships do for you? Guys, we all know that guy across town who's a complete blithering idiot when it comes to investing. He puts everybody into American funds. If they're 20 years old, that all goes to American funds. If they're 92 years old, it all goes into American funds. He has no clue about how to be a financial advisor. But everybody what? Is that guy is rolling in clients. People love him. Why do people love him? Because it has nothing to do with his ability to be a financial advisor. It's the fact that he's the one that volunteers on all these organizations. He's the one that is always happy to be there to help people. He's the one that's known. He's the one that goes out to lunch with people. He's the one that's always got a smile on his face. He's likable. And being of service 3 times a day, that's likable. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be very little things. Okay? Gratitext. This is an easy thing to do. Send out 4 texts a day just thanking somebody for something. If 4 is too much, just do 1 a day. At least then 30 times a month, you're going to let people know that you appreciate them. Guess what that does for you? Again, makes people like you. Stop watching the news, and I'm as bad as anybody when it comes to this. Stop watching the news. What does watching the news do for you? Everybody answer this. What does watching the news do for you? Everybody's saying it brings you down, it's a downer, it's depressed, it's a waste of time, it gets you mad, makes you feel hopeless, all those things. Does the news do anything for you? Seeing somebody being shot in downtown Minneapolis, seeing that there was a fire over here, all these political tidbits and sound bites that they give us, do any of those provide any valuable information? No. Now, I'm not saying don't be informed. I'm saying don't watch the news. You know what? Read a magazine article. How much more information will you get from a magazine article than watching the sound bites you get on the news? You know what? Stay abreast of what's happening around you. Yes, do that. Do that by reading books, reading long magazine articles. They require you to think. Sound bites are designed on TV to not require you to think. Read books, read magazines. They require you to think. You can swallow limitless amounts of news flashes that are worthless. They're bright colored candies for the mind. Today we reached a point in relation to information that we faced 20 years ago in regard to food. It's all over the place. We just eat, and the same thing with news. We eat, and it's toxic. It's toxic. Just like watching what you eat will make you healthier, watching what you watch will make you healthier. So why you need to stop watching the news? First of all, it misleads you. You know, there's two ways to view the news: Fox News and MSNBC News. They're both looking at the same thing, and they're both basically lying because they're both have a bent towards what they're saying. It's they're not balanced ways of viewing things, because you're not going to get it. They're designed to what? Pander to their viewers. So they're going to feed them candy because they will keep coming back for that candy. Quit watching. It's not truthful. Read an article. Think for yourself. The news is irrelevant. It explains the wrong things. Things that really drive society are often slow, powerful movements that can't be explained in a soundbite. It's unhealthy for you. It increases cognitive errors because it preys on confirmation bias. People who love Fox, they get the confirmation bias that Fox gives them. People who love MSNBC gives the confirmation bias that MSNBC gives them. It's not making them think. It inhibits critical thinking. And guys, do you think it just inhibits critical thinking when it comes to politics, or when we start really using that as a go-to, what starts to happen in all of our life, even what we do with our business, and even doing with our friends, our family? It's a drug. It wastes time. It makes us passive. It kills creativity. How much more? What could you have done with all the time you had spent watching the news or checking your news feed on your phone? Again, I'm as bad as anybody. This is something I deal with every single day, and I've gotten much better when I catch myself doing it, stopping it immediately. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Quit watching the news. If you got to take care of your teeth. Take care. I know it's stupid. Your teeth have nothing to do with how smart you are. It has nothing to do with how good a financial advisor. It has nothing to do with how much you care about people. But you got to get your teeth whitened. You know what? It's sad, but people judge you based on how heavy your pen is, based on whether you can write upside down, based on how white your teeth are. Get your teeth so they're well taken care of, so that you can smile. What happens when you smile? Do people trust you more or less when you smile? More. They like you more. They trust you more. Okay? Keep yourself groomed. Keep your hair cut. If you have facial hair, keep it groomed. If you've got hair coming out of your ears or your nose, keep it groomed. People judge you on these things, and it's a distraction. So keep yourself groomed. Keep your shoes shined. Wear good clothes. Practice having good eye contact with people. Okay? Practice having good eye contact with people. You'd be amazed if you start paying attention to this, how little eye contact you have with your spouse, how little eye contact you have with your kids, how little eye contact you have with your clients, the dry cleaner, the guy at the restaurant. Have more eye contact. People are asking about suits or how I dressed. I always wore a suit, and then when people came in, I took off or asked them if I could take off my coat, and they always said, yeah, sure, go ahead and take your coat. That's for seminars. In my office, I always wore pants, a white shirt, and a silver tie. Pants, a white shirt. So in my closet, I had a series of charcoal gray pants. I had like 10 charcoal gray pants. I had 10 white shirts, and I had 10, or probably 5 silver ties. That's all I wore. That was my uniform. And I would have I'd have a pants, a shirt, a tie, and I'd roll up my sleeves when I was in the office. So that let them know that I was professional. I was, but I was also a working professional, not trying to be a fancy schmancy guy. But I'm also not wearing a golf shirt. Now, again, if you're in a different part of the country, maybe your dress attire is different. But a shirt, tie with rolled up sleeves, I think would work. I don't care if you're in Florida where it's super hot and soupy, or up in the north where it's less hot and soupy. So I think that's what I would always wear. And then be in the zone. Be focused on what you're trying to. Don't be just lollygagging through your workday or lollygagging through life. Have a plan. We talked about Benjamin Franklin having that plan every single day last week. Have a plan on what your focus is going to be that day. Start with your 15-minute drill. Start with and then put down what you're going to plan today or to do today in order to make it a productive day. Have a plan and be focused. Just don't just float through your business day. Don't just float through life. Have a plan. So again, buy a nice pen. Learn to write upside down. Have a signature that you remember. Have a signature. Write handwritten notes. Contact one of your best clients every day about nothing about business. Offer to be of service to folks every single day. Try to do 2 or 3 a day. Express gratitude. Send a text, or you combine even better. Express gratitude and a handwritten note. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. Don't watch the news for a week. How about don't watch news again? Stay informed, but stay informed by reading articles so you can get better at absorbing information and critiquing that information and thinking about that information. It doesn't just work for the news. It'll help you in life. Improve your smile and smile more. Be well groomed. Focus on that eye contact and be focused on what you want to achieve every day. Start doing these things, and it will make a huge. And how much do any of the getting your smile improved? That may cost a lot of money, but other than that, how much do any of the other things cost? Nothing. So start working on these things on a day. These are things that cost, except for the smile or improving your smile. All these, and I guess the pen would be a one-time expense, but the rest of these things do not cost anything. It requires effort, and effort on these things won't just provide immediate results. It starts to change who you are as a person and making you a better person, a more likable person, a person that people want to be around, a person that people want to give money to because they trust you, they know you're that kind of person. Make sense? So this is, I hope you've gotten some ideas from these things that will help you, that you can put in. Don't just say these are good ideas. Good ideas that you don't implement are worth what? Good ideas you don't implement are worth what? Nothing. Make a list of these things and don't do them all this week. Just do 1 a week. Get going on 1 a week. So that means within 3 months, you're going to be a totally different person. Okay? People will notice. People absolutely notice if you do these things. Make sense? Super. Well, then you guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll talk to you next Monday. Thanks, everybody.